Hey everyone, welcome to Addicted to Minis. Today we're going to be taking a look at some new releases for Monsterpocalypse Miniatures game. This new wave of releases are their buildings. We now have 6 new buildings that we can take into battle with us. Each building is going to have a unique rule that either gives a negative effect to your opponent or a positive effect to yourself if you are controlling it. These buildings are all resin, will come with their stat card and a base. So let's take a look. So I have removed the contents of each blister, laid it out here for us. The blister is just a standard oversized clamshell blister. And the paperwork that's in it basically is just a bifold with the studio scheme on one side and burning buildings on the other. Inside that it came with the stat cards. So once again, you're going to get your stat cards for the building, you're going to get the base for the building, and then the building itself. The bases themselves are just the standard clear acrylic bases. These are the monster size bases. So one base per blister, so I got 6 bases here. So slide those off to the side. And then moving from left to right here, we will start with the power plant. With the power plant, you've got a one-piece miniature here. Pretty solid model. I definitely like the simplisticness of the buildings. They have the perfect amount of detail, in my opinion, for this game. The only thing with this one is that there is a substantial mold line going the full length of the chimney stack here. Shouldn't be an issue for any loss of detail. And then luckily the rest of it is on the bottom. So as long as you can sand all that down, this will glue to its base pretty level. And then you have the standard unit card. For the buildings, it's going to have the name of the building and then its special rules on the left, and then its defense up there in the top right for when it gets attacked. And then the standard backside, which is the Monsterpocalypse logo. Right. Next up, we have the Industrial Complex. Now this is a pretty nifty miniature. I definitely like the aesthetics of this miniature, if you will. I like the smokestack here, and then you have these containers in the back. So you could paint this up pretty much anything. This could be like a nuclear waste industrial complex. You could even make this like it's making a whole bunch of beer. So I know the beer grosh one had I think it has a similar model that it's sitting on, which is cool. Definitely like this one. So real quick, there aren't any major mold lines on this cast, and then the bottom will level out really easily to be able to glue to its base. And you have its stat card. So you've got the name and ability on the left there, special rules, excuse me, and then its defense up there to the right. Yeah, next up we have the communications array. Now the communications array is the only model, the only two-piece model out of this wave. Everything else is a single-piece resin. For this one, the actual communications dish is not attached to the model. As you can tell there, I've got it blue tacked because I want to be able to paint that communications dish separately. I did have to clean this model up a bit to be able to get the communications dish to set flush and ready to go. So if you can actually kind of see it there at the back of the communications dish that there was a substantial mold line there that I am still working on getting rid of. But other than that, the excess flash and stuff like that is at the bottom again. So not difficult to get these models ready to go. And then you have the stat card. Try to get that glare out of the way. There you go. So you have the special rules there and its defense. Moving on, we have the downtown Highrise. This is starting to get into those heftier one-piece resin miniatures. There, once again, aren't any crazy visible mold lines that could slow you down or damage any of the detail. Go ahead, rotate it up to the top. So it's pretty nice. This one is probably the second heaviest of the group here. And then you've got your resin on the bottom there. Just file that down, and this will go on level. And you have your card for the downtown Highrise. This one was a slight misprint of the card. See if I can't focus on it real quick. There we go. So there's the special rules. As you can tell, the way that this one was printed has a little bit of a white line on the side there, so not a big deal. You've got all your rules there. Just I'm kind of OCD, so this card's gonna mess with my head every time I look at it. Right, next up. Now this is the big daddy of the group. This is the Skyscraper, and the Skyscraper is a hefty model. I mean, you need to be careful with this. If you drop this, you'll know if it hits your foot, that's going to sting a bit. I mean, it is full on solid all the way to the top. Great detail, like I've been saying. I love the simplistic look of the buildings just because of the scale that the game is in. I like that these are there and that you can paint them up to look pretty nifty, but they at the same time don't detract from what you've done to your units and your monster. So, and then once again, no mold lines that are going to give you much trouble, and then just getting that bottom leveled out and you're good to go. So moving on to the Skyscraper's card here. Now the Skyscraper is the only building out of this wave that has a defense of 7. So, and then you've got your special rule there on the left. Okay, so last but not least, we have the corporate headquarters building. Now, I like this model. It's just the shape of it, I think, is really, really neat. Being able to have all these ground floor or ground level building, you know, like your offices and stuff, and then it goes up to the penthouse, you know what I mean? So, but and then I like this too, that how the front door has a little overhang over it. That's really neat. So the mold lines are pretty solid here for excuse me, the mold lines are non-existent, what I should have said. And then all this one had was leveling out that needs to be done, and it's good to go. Now, one thing to mention about the corporate headquarters building is that there is a limited edition version of that model out that has the Privateer Press logo at the top here. The only way to get that model, however, is to win one of Monsterpocalypse's launch events. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to talk to your local gaming store and see if you can't get one of those events running to try to give you a chance to win it, because it is a pretty epic looking model. So, and then finally, this is the corporate headquarters building card. So you defense 6, and you got your special rules there on the left. And there you have it. That's a real quick look at the first 6 buildings for Monsterpocalypse miniatures game from Privateer Press. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching.